settling into a comfortable, upright posture. We can say a dignified posture. Pretty intense sunlight on me here.
You gonna be okay?
Oh, I'll be fine. It looks strange on camera, probably. I'll have to ask Steph if I look divine or not, backlit by my own wonder. Thanks, Steph. Aligning your body into a comfortable upright posture. Shaping yourself so that it's possible to soften down through your body. Giving yourself a sense of being empty on the inside. Empty of force or stress. Empty of big thoughts and feelings. Your mind is slowing down, letting go, becoming empty of lots of thinks. Your emotional body also slowing down, coming to rest, becoming empty of lots of feels. Easing open through letting go. More and more open. Making space in your mind, making space in your heart, making space in your body so that everything can settle down. As you make space in your body, feeling the breath moving naturally in and out. Getting easier and easier. You can exhale through the mouth to help your system soften further. Inhaling through the nose, feeling that sense of stillness increase. Just another minute. If your mind wanders away, simply relax around the distraction. Let yourself drift back into your body, your awareness sinking into your body without force, just this natural interest in what's actually going on. Your emotions becoming calm and easy. You are simply being here. You're not trying to do anything, be anything. You're just here. Letting go of anything that's striving, gripping. Remember that if you find this particularly helpful, you can stick with this practice for a while. This might be the most important practice of your day. And if you're continuing to deepen, continuing to soften, stay with this practice, letting go and letting go. Just catch up with us later. Always letting go to your deepest current level of capacity, becoming as present and as still inside as you can. And then we use that space to practice Qigong. I will take off my headphones in just a moment. And as usual, I want to welcome any new people joining us from around the world. If you are new here and unsure of what's going on, please do check down below for a link to a video introduction for this particular set, as well as a collection of text about the set. And that will help you practice with us during these live sessions without becoming confused or wasting your time. And for everybody else, take the time to get your hands warm, lively, and soft before beginning. sun feels really nice. It's been cloudy here for so very long.
Yeah, this is the first day it actually feels like spring.
Yeah, it feels very spring-like today. Which for the people locally might show up as extra tension, frustration, stagnation, if we're holding on to that new energy rising. And if we let it express itself, then it shows up as creativity, generosity, this deep, humane, kind quality. And so if you are living in a place where spring is expressing itself as strongly as it is today, because we're all part of this environment, then you definitely want to be letting all of that stuff flow as best you can today. Continuously softening. Just a reminder that part of this practice is about gently, consistently releasing your hands. They get softer and softer. And if you're at a place now in your practice where that's gotten easier, that consistently your hands have been getting softer throughout the set, then begin to find a way to let that spread up your forearms. So it's not a soft hands, tight forearm experience, but instead it's soft hands and wrist experience. Good morning, Del. Thanks for joining us. Softer and softer. If I may use an analogy for playing the guqin, the stringed instrument that you sit in front and push down on the strings for. There's two ways to push down on the strings. One is to push down as though I'm pressing, getting on the top of it and pushing it down. Another way is to allow the weight of my arm and eventually also the body to sink, and that sinks through the string and holds it down. One adds a lot, adds tension, and is exhausting. One is actually an experience of softening, and the more I soften, the better I'm able to sink through the string. And that is exactly the same feeling that we have here, except it's even easier. So as I settle here, I could sort of get on the top and try to push down somehow, adding tension to this area, trying to soften this. Or by letting my arm sink, my elbow sink, and the weight of my hand transfer, I can allow this sinking energy, this chanting, this quality of settling down through this very superficial layer of tissue, sinking into that space just on top of the muscles, beneath the skin. But not because I'm pushing, but because my body is sinking. It's letting go and to create that movement. And it might be easiest to find in these kinds of positions where your hands are just settling on something rather than a vertical position. But it's the same everywhere. So as you make contact with your body and you add that tiny bit of pressure, just the weight of your hand, let it be the weight that sinks through for you, rather than you adding something and pushing through the arm to get to it. There's a letting go, a softening, and that softening takes you into your own tissues. And the funny cause and effect of that seems counterintuitive, is that the better we're able to let go and allow this kind of sinking through the body to happen, the easier it is to be delicate and light. This light quality, qingling. So this sinking leads to this sense of lightness. And the more you're able to let go and let things sink, the more delicate and attentive you're able to be, because it's that much more softness, that much more letting go. Making deep contact. Today this point is taking me a little bit longer to connect to, so I'm just going to spend some extra time here. Maybe I'll change the kind of contact I'm making to see if it helps. Just to illustrate how we're supposed to interact with this practice. You listen, you change, you take the time that you need. Every point, every day is different. You only follow the prescription until you can feel it yourself. And I'm hoping at this point, practically 3/4 of the way through, that you are able to feel the changes in your body. Even if all you can feel is that you have trouble feeling, somebody reported that they very clearly felt that they had trouble feeling. And that is a really good sign, because that's a deepening of awareness. Real numbness of the mind and the body, you can't tell that you're not feeling. It's like a person that's walking around being unkind. If they don't know they're being unkind, that's a real kind of deafness, blindness. But a person that walks around is unkind and then recognizes that they're being unkind, that's a person that will start to change. The biggest process that you can do is to start to notice how you are. And then the change almost happens on its own. You just create space for it. Right?
Right.
I have a Mel in the background. Similarly, if you are practicing and you notice your mind wander away, if you're wakeful enough to notice that you wandered away, instead of just to blindly wander in and out without noticing that shift, if you do notice it, that's when the change begins to happen. That's when you get to adjust how you're interacting with your daydream. And that's why it's so important that you interact with it as a meh. ZhiCheng Shifu always tells us that the only time that you should use the word, the rudest word in the world, he thinks, is whatever. Whatever. And he says the only time you should ever use it is when you view those qualities of your mind. You look at them, your mind is distracted, and you just go, whatever. You lose interest, you don't care. It doesn't matter. And you let your mind come back on its own.
The mind doesn't care either.
The mind doesn't care. Yeah, it's just attaching and randomly is conditioned. Yeah, thoughts don't care. That's what Mel's saying if you can't hear her. And so that's the quality. But the only way that you can allow that shape to happen is if you notice. And if you do notice, then that's it. That's more than half the battle, so to speak. Notice and whatever. Cosmic meh. And then let your mind be interested in what's happening. If you do that enough times, if you notice and don't react enough times, that's life-changing. That will shift the entire experience of your universe. That's one of the really wonderful things about this set as a meditation. Constantly brings you back to your body, constantly brings you back to your body. And we continuously interact with this gentle, friendly quality, continuously coming back, being easy. So even with your distractions, if you react to them negatively, if you get mad at them or afraid of them or something, push them away, obsess over them, that's when things get more difficult. That's when we start to fall into delusional cycles as we believe our thoughts, which is okay too. That's how most people live. And if we're looking to become more centered, more present, more awake, then we continuously come back to what's actually happening. And that's all. You don't have to judge it. Just be friendly to your thoughts. They're just noise. It's like the sound of the crows outside. You just notice it, smile, come back to what you're doing. So you create a little quotable statement.
A shirt that says whatever in quotes attributed to Shifu.
Oh yeah. I have a semi-hobby of playing jokes on my Shifu. Little silly things. And one of the things I like to do is make t-shirts with his sayings on them, just so he can look at me and then roll his eyes. It's a lot of fun for me.
Putting golf balls in his shoes.
I do, yeah, I put golf balls in his shoes and things like that. I've been consistently dressing up the skeleton over here so that when he comes back for his class, pretty fun. If you have the option To find the Shifu that has a sense of humor and does not take himself seriously, that is a very good sign. If you find a spiritual teacher that takes themselves seriously, then clearly there's something wrong. Shifu takes the practice seriously. He takes our training seriously, but he does not take himself seriously. Mind wanders away, you come back. Viewing the mind like the croaking of a raven. Interesting, but just noise. Just stay here. As a reminder, you should be adjusting this form to make it comfortable and suitable for you. I know that there's some strong percentage of people who will watch this that will have great pain here, because this is one of the top 3 most common pains in the world. And so if you need to, please do take extra time here. That's why I added it, just for you. By the way, I had wanted to mention, I know that, excuse me, somebody was describing to me a common nausea problem, and they were trying to treat the nausea, excuse me, by putting pressure on this pericardium 6 point between these 2 tendons a couple inches up that we work on, the inner gate point, Neguan. And it is famous for treating many kinds of nausea, of course, depending on what's causing the nausea. And oftentimes, if it's not working for you, it's not functional, it's because this area is too obstructed. There isn't enough qi flow through this channel, so to speak, in order to make this point useful for you. And so if you want this to become functional, please do spend time softening these areas, this line through here. And if you find that it's particularly obstructed or tight, or it's resistant to your awareness soaking in, Then after you spend some time opening this area, making it soft, malleable, and your awareness is able to penetrate it, then try again connecting with that point to see if it helps you with your nausea. I know it may be a bit late at this point for some of you, but a worthwhile point to know about and maybe a solution to make the point more effective for you. That's true, by the way, for all of the points on the body. If you're using them as acupressure points, this point here is famous for treating frontal headache. And if you use it and it's not quite working for you, it might be that this channel and this point is just obstructed. There isn't a chi flow there, but not enough movement. So pressing on it doesn't do anything. In a way, you're numb. It's disconnected from your body. And so if you take the time to open and soften these points and prepare it with your mind, and then try it, it's often more effective later. And so if you're trying to find a usefulness out of these regular acupressure points that you've heard work for other people, then this is one way to make that work. In the clinic with somebody, I will always spend time opening and filling and connecting the channel and the point before trying to stimulate it. How do you feel?
Feeling better. Yeah, there's been a lot of liver constraint, especially in this area.
Yeah, it's a very spring day. Lots of liver chi constraint coming up. Well, lots of liver chi, and then whether or not you grip it, if it's passing through you or it flows, causes pain or pleasure. Yeah, I heard it. Things are moving. It's good. Yeah. Thanks for being willing to talk about this stuff with people. Mm-hmm. I think it's very useful for people to hear about how other people experience their bodies, because we only ever know this one.
Yeah. I'm feeling extremely irritable today.
That's such a wonderful thing. So for those of you who can't hear, Mel is experiencing irritability. It's a very spring-like day, as I mentioned. And it is a wonderful thing to be able to say, I feel irritable. Like I have this feeling of congestion and pent-up energy. It's uncomfortable. And it's not due to anything, because people who are less self-aware than Mel, what they will usually do is first feel irritable or angry or frustrated, And then 13.7 milliseconds later, they look around for something to be irritated at, because it feels better to be irritated at something for whatever reason. It helps to move the chi. That's right. Mel shaking her fist. And so they get mad at whatever, their family, their job, the traffic, the loud raven outside, the sunny day. Ah, you sun, how dare you? These kinds of things. And it is a very self-aware thing to recognize that these feelings are inside you. And so you feel them and you go, wow, I have this very strong feeling, whether it's irritation, which is one kind of pent-up energy, anxiety shows up as something else, great fear, being startled, a sense of grief for no reason. I just feel sad, you'll hear people say. That's a wonderful thing, because they're recognizing they just have a feeling. It's not about anything. Their internal sensing system is letting them know, hey, there's stuff going on in here. It's a sensory system. And then the mistake starts to happen when we say, it's you making me feel this way. Or that it's a me making it feel this way. That's right. That's a really good point. Yeah, that it's just stuff happening. Yeah, it's just the crow making noise. It's a weather pattern. Yeah. And so some ways that we may feel the weather patterns of the movement of chi is a feeling of heat or cold, pressure, sensation, tingling. We may also feel the weather pattern as our thoughts slowing down or speeding up. We have lots of these feelings. Our heart rate speeds up or slows down. And the way that our emotions process that, instead of just through our nervous system, is these feelings of frustration or anger or fear or grief. It's just a weather pattern. It's just a way of knowing what's going on. And then the unskillful thing is to look around to blame it on something or somebody, including ourselves, instead of just to recognize it for what it is and to do what's needed to release it as a kind of medicine. But first, just to not react, just to notice it. Go, oh, huh. Like feeling hungry. You notice it and you go, oh, I'm hungry. But it doesn't have to ruin your day. You simply take the time when you need to go get food. Oh, I'm tired. You don't then have to blame the world for being tired. Damn you, it's my kids making me tired. I hate them. Instead, it's, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I should probably rest. And when you have the chance, you rest. Oh, I feel stuck and stagnant inside. I don't have to look around. You caused it. Damn government. Damn secret society running the universe or something like that. Instead, we look around, oh, I feel stuck inside. When I get the chance, I will go for a walk, or I'll do some Qigong and free it up. These are all more skillful ways of dealing with our process. And as you can hear, Mel is very skillful. So we want to develop that kind of capacity in ourselves. Again, to notice, not react. We shrug, we say, whatever, it's a feeling. We don't ignore it, but we don't chase it. And then we do the most appropriate thing, which is never to go, well, very rarely at least, to go yell at somebody.
I feel like it's also worth mentioning that if you do react, that's okay too.
Yeah, if you do react, Mel says that's okay too.
Yeah, that is also part of our visual.
That's right.
Pattern.
That's the same sequence. It's the same conditioning.
Yeah.
We notice it. That's also part of the raven making noise. And we go, oh, and we come back to ourselves. We become aware of what we're doing. And that gives us the chance to actually respond instead of react. Because until then, we're just one pinball bouncing off of another.
Yeah.
And then we pause, things settle, and then, seemingly at least, we can make a choice. It's a very different way to live. Even if that choice is to put a golf ball into the shoe of your serpent, which may or may not be wise in the moment. What's that? One of the big carpenter bees, probably.
Yeah, it's huge.
They're wonderful. They don't sting. They just bumble around. They're very curious. They'll fly right up to you and look at you. What are you? And they'll fly away. Again, just a reminder, I'm increasing the number of repetitions on the back, which means you have to be cautious to not begin to add tension to your shoulders or your hands. Pause as often as you need to. But better than that is to find a way to do the same movement, but softer. Letting your awareness soak into the body, feeling that space between the musculature and the skin. There's this huge sheath of fascia back here called an aponeurosis. It's a huge, powerful, layered bit of connective tissue, stronger than apple neurosis.
Apple neurosis?
I'm just kidding. Aponeurosis. But apple neurosis sounds like somebody who's addicted to Macs or something like
That's how I remember it.
that. It doesn't matter. It's just a big, powerful layer of this style of connective tissue that's literally stronger than steel, that layers and layers and is designed to protect us, but it also can generate movement and strength, helps to circulate qi and blood and fluids, and it's just a wonderful thing to nourish and set free. Most people, it's collapsed all the time, pressured. So all it can do is try to hold us together as we move our bodies unskillfully. So as you allow your awareness to soak into this space, you might find it easier here, if you can feel your back at all, to begin to feel that space on top of the bone and the muscle, between that and the skin. The skin here will move differently because it's connected differently. And this thick sheath of powerful tissue that we are opening and relating to, you are able to sense it. It has more nerve endings than the muscles do. Yeah, it also has proprioceptive connections. It communicates to our brain and nervous system. It propagates signals faster than our nerves do.
There's a line in the I Ching, I think it's 52 where they talk about stillness, what that means, and one of the lines references the spine, and how when that area in particular is still, the ego is still. I wonder if it's because that's where all these nerves are.
Well, I mean, the whole body is surrounded with that sheath. So I'm not sure if anybody can hear you. Mel is describing a line from the I Ching, mountain over mountain. And it's describing that when you're the mountain in the body, the spine is still, the whole body is still, or the ego is still.
About different areas of the body in particular being still, and the effect that has on the body. And from what I remember, like my takeaway was that the spine plays a very significant role in stilling the mind.
Well, it does. This is my reason for not wanting to trust Wilhelm, because he's referencing Freud and nerves and things instead of Chinese medicine and Taoism. And so it makes me question.
He immersed himself in Taoism and studied with an instructor. I can't remember specifically, but he kind of immersed himself in both worlds.
Okay.
Western psychology and Eastern philosophy. So I don't know. I'm paraphrasing. I could be speaking, but
I will talk about it after class. More good fodder for the Turtle Talk podcast. Softening all the way around the knee. If you have an area of the knee that is especially uncomfortable for you, then please do spend time there. Softening the space behind the knee. Yesterday we spent extra time at this point. If you found that you had some relief in your lower back afterward, then please do spend some extra time here. Stomach 36 at the top of that muscle along the shin, warming and awakening the point. Gallbladder 34. Remember, as you access the knees and the lower body, to be gentle with the lower back. Position yourself as best you can so that you're not straining the lower back. For some people, sitting may be too difficult, or maybe just sitting at different heights will help. So if you have an awesome stool, you can try going up or down to see if there's one that takes the pressure off of your back and allows you to access your knees or your lower legs. You can sit on the ground, pull your legs up to you, lay on your back, lift your knee. Find a way so that it works for your body in this moment. And then as you heal, everything gets easier. as best you can, exploring this idea of the sinking energy. So it's my body relaxing. It's the weight of my hand sinking in because I'm softening, not because I'm pressing my body inward. It's a letting go, not a grabbing on, so that your hands are able to continue to practice softening. This allows you to be more dexterous, to be softer and easier. Opening of spleen 6, taking your time. Again, you can use your thumb, your fingertips, your palm, the base of your thumb, the base of the little finger's knuckle. Whatever it is that helps you soften, stimulate, and open this area. This is another one of those spaces that's often depleted, and I have to do work before I can needle it because it's often too cold. There's contraction here. There's a great emptiness of these channels. So we want to find a way to connect with them, to allow our mind to soak in. Especially useful at this point, that connects to 3 yin channels at once. Taking the time to deeply soften your feet. As you've learned the various channels in the body, you might be able to recognize which toe relates to which channel, and if you have particular difficulties along any of the particular channels, you can spend time softening and opening that line connecting to the toe, or just working on the toe itself. You'd be surprised how it can be helpful. Learning how the body relates to itself is always helpful. So beautiful. This bright sun and these very dark clouds highlighting the blossoms on this plum tree next to us. Living here is constant inspiration for the practice. If you notice your mind wandering away, make sure that you respond rather than react. You simply are aware, you notice that your mind is wandering off. You put it aside. Even if you just say to yourself, I will think about this later, and you come back to your practice. That's okay too. Just letting it be neutral, be comfortable, calm, and present. Take extra time today to soften open your feet, to help spread open this thick mat of fascia on the bottom of your foot. Work it around, spread your foot, especially if it's very stiff. Very gentle. You're not trying to force it open. You do want to allow for a greater degree of flexibility and movement through your feet, if you can. Putting some extra energy in your feet today. moving your toes, opening the ankles, the knees, the hips, full range of motion. I'll use my hands the way I'm using my feet. Make sure that you're not just moving your ankles like this, but you're actually shaping your feet, allowing a curve to begin to form, using the musculature perhaps in a way that you're not used to. And then, as though grabbing with your feet, spread your toes open, round your toes around as though around a ball, or like you're trying to pick a towel up off of the ground with your toes. Especially if you have trouble reaching your feet right now, for lots of good reasons. This is another useful way to warm and soften the feet. Ah, wonderful. Softening the waist, turning your navel rather than just your shoulders. If you'd like to lay flat, of course, you're welcome to. Spread out and get comfortable. Let your body soften to the floor. I'll stay sitting. And allow your awareness to spread out through your body. If you can, feeling your whole body at once, especially this particular layer we've been opening. Just being soft and easy. And at some point, when you feel like you've softened enough and you've let go, then you can come back to a seated position if you want, or just stay laying down. You want to establish, as we've been working, this middle dantian, the space between the navel and the spine, as the center. It's where you are anchored and grounded. Your awareness is resting there, always a little bit. And then it spreads out through your body, into the space around you. Instead of using the center of your head or maybe the center of your chest as your main way of experiencing yourself, begin to cultivate this deeper, more grounded quality. The next time you have to go have a stressful conversation or a difficult day at work, maybe you have to give a public speech, see if you can try allowing one thread of your awareness to remain settled in this central space and see how it affects you. By the way, thank you very much for joining me.